13. And Israel stretched out his right hand, this is Jacob, and he laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hand wittingly, meaning he knew perfectly well what he was doing. For Manasseh was the firstborn. In other words, I want you to see this, what Jacob did. He crossed his arms like this. And in giving the blessing, he formed a cross. That cross later would mean a sign, if you would, of Christianity. But also it would mean the one he is blessing that would become a commonwealth of nations. Every nation of that commonwealth with its flag, even to this day, has that cross. It's there. And for a reason. Well, what reason would it have? You just read it. It's God's hand upon his people. And it is another proof of where these tribes would settle, and how the authority, the kingship. You might say, well, you mean kings came from this? No, the kings came from Judah. But, well, what does that have to do? Well, Scotia came to Scotland, and, the kings of Scotland, you can read of them. It's fantastic. Scotia, which would become Scotland. Well, how can you believe that king business? Well, what are you holding in your hand other than a King James Bible? That's where it came from the cross, from the promise. And the very promise of the king or queen that sits on the throne, the very first pledge given at a coronation. The duty is protector of the faith of Israel. That's no accident. That's the cross. Okay, and we continue then. Next verse, please. That's why it's important. Watch and listen carefully. Verse 15. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life long unto this day. 16. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And certainly in the midst of the earth, the midst being the fertile, crop producing part of the earth itself, the middle. And how precious it is that those nations would settle thusly and have an abundance of everything, as long as they served God and as long as they loved him. You see, there are no accidents when you put Father's word in action and understand the very acts of God himself through the leaders of the nations all the way down through history, following the cross, and old forgetful, who would later migrate to another land and discover it, which the American Indian being in part, if you understand the culture, long, long ago. So it is that those nations and tribes would become the blessing to the earth because they have the blessings of God. Next verse, please. 17. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, wrong, see, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. He tried to do away with the cross. 18. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. What did his father say? 19, listen. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son. I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. It's the British Commonwealth. Okay. Many nations flying that at one time. Gets smaller all the time, but so it is. This is prophecy. And it's prophecy that's very easily traceable, whereby you can keep up with the blessings that God placed upon these families, the 12 tribes of Israel, the sons of Joseph who would become tribes. Verse 20, and he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh, the superpower. You know, many people will have trouble with that. Well, I don't understand. Well, wake up. Look around. Who's the superpower of superpowers in these end times? Though we have some shenanigans that go on that try to belittle our nation, it can't be done because God's still on the throne. And this is a nation under God. It is by the people and for the people. And the people are the children of the living God. It is a nation that is blessed of God because God placed this blessing and this promise upon them many, many years ago, way back in the beginning. And so it is in the end that these blessings continue. And it is even down to the fact that God prevents the hand of Satan from touching his anointed, as long as they use the authority and the power that God places in them to keep the negative away, to keep the evil spirits away from the house of God, and then receive God's love and God's blessings. How precious it is when you look around the world. You don't want to miss the next chapter. It's where all the tribes are given their blessing. Those tribes pretty well line it out, and many of them you can trace even into this day. It's a fantastic study, and we'll get to that in the next lecture.